Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 170.
On Now You Know.
Sponsored, as always, by our wonderful, amazing Patreon patrons. We couldn't do this show without you, and we've got some quite amazing perks for them, so check out patreon.com.
And sponsored by our friends at the solar-powered hotels in Schaumburg, Illinois, the Fairfield Inn and Suites by Marriott, and the Town Place Suite Hotel right next door. They're both connected, and they're both solar-powered. And as Amazon associates, we earn from qualifying purchases, so you can use our link in the show notes down below. And this week we've got a new design on ecoware.us, two actually.
Yes.
I'm wearing the embroidered brain logo for Now You Know, which you can get on EcoWare.
And then the other one, just in time for the holidays.
Ooh, that's cool, a laser cut ornament.
Laser cut ornament, and if you can't justify buying an ornament, it does turn into a coaster.
Oh, that's true. Everything is carbon offset from the manufacturer, the shipping, and the life cycle of your product. And we plant a tree for every order. And it helps support us here on Now You Know.
We're going to be going down to Austin, Texas, February 1st and 2nd for Fully Charged Live. And we have a discount code. You can get 15% off your tickets. It's NYK2019. You'll find the link down in the description below.
And you remember our Autonomous Driving Future series. Well, we've re-released it, and we're on episode 5. That'll be coming out every Saturday for the next few weeks. So make sure you catch that, because it's really pretty cool.
All right, so let's get into the news.
Yeah.
So when Tesla first unveiled the Cybertruck, the timeline was that the least two expensive versions of the truck were going to be coming out first, which would be late 2021. And the Tri-Motor, the most expensive option at $69,900, would come out in late 2022.
Now Elon has revealed that most people have asked for the most two expensive options. 42% said they want the dual motor, 41% said they want the tri-motor, only 17% want the single motor. So Tesla has swapped the single and tri-motor dates. So now the tri-motor will start being delivered in late 2021, and the single motor will come out in late 2022. And speaking of the Cybertruck, it's gonna get a flip stop.
So for those of you who don't know what that is, basically the bed of the truck is too short to fit a full sheet of plywood or sheetrock or whatever, 4x8. And so by having the tailgate have a flip stop, you can actually carry sheets of plywood.
And Cody Sims posted a photo of the Cybertruck driving around near LAX. And now before you ask how it could be driving without rear view mirrors, because a lot of people have, it has manufacturer plates, which allows for test vehicles on the roads that don't necessarily comply with all regulations.
I can't get over how unreal the Cybertruck looks in real pictures. It looks like a rendering. I think it's because of the angular shapes and the stainless steel, the way that it reflects. It just looks pretend, doesn't it? And it's also just so much bigger than you're imagining it.
Yeah, some people are complaining that Cybertruck is just too big. Tesla Raj, in fact, posted this video showing that he would have trouble fitting it in his garage. So
wait a minute. This is a stainless steel, dent-proof, scratch-proof truck. You're telling me you're going to put it in your garage? You need a house for something that is essentially a house?
Yeah, I mean, come on, Tesla Raj. I mean, are you going to ruin it for the rest of us? I mean, Elon has to now make a smaller version for you.
And also, take a look at the video for a second. That'll fit in your garage if you just pull it forward.
And get the junk out.
And keep in mind that you can use Summon to get it as close as you want to the back wall of the garage.
Yeah, I mean, after an article in Teslarati about how the truck possibly would be too big for some garages, Elon tweeted, "We can probably reduce width by 1 inch and maybe reduce length by 6+ inches without losing on utility or aesthetics. Minimum height is below 75 inches when air suspension is set to low. We'll post exact number soon."
Elon, you don't have to do this, right?
Yeah, I mean, the average garage is 20 feet long. A Cybertruck is like 19 and a half feet, so it'll fit. I mean, do you park your Ford double cab in your garage?
Don't park it in the garage. Right. It's meant to be, parked on the smoldering rubble of your enemies. Like, that's the whole point. It's a Cybertruck. Right. It's meant for the apocalypse.
We're just razzing you, Tesla Raj. We love your channel.
It's important to make sure that it fits in garages.
Now, there are some other tweets here that answer some more questions. Steve Jobs Ghost says, don't worry about it. Doesn't need to be garaged. It's completely impervious to weather.
Exactly.
And Elon said, true, more for parking at destination. Really needs to fit in same external envelope as a full-size SUV, but with better height control with air suspension. So it can fit in low clearance parking garages. And Viv posted, how much smaller do you expect the smaller version you've mentioned you might make at some point to get? And Elon said, that will require a full redesign, but probably around 73 inches or around 185 centimeters width.
What was he doing this for? Is he doing this for Europe?
Europe, yeah.
Sorry. I don't know. Like, it's not real. Like, we're not driving around tanks all over the place because we just decided that we're not going to have that. So that's why
you don't want Europe to get their own version?
I don't know. I mean,
Cybertruck. Euro version.
I understand that there aren't many pickup trucks in Europe. That's what we noticed when we were in Europe, is that nobody...
They want to be like us.
They don't. They really don't.
You know who wants to be like us? Mexico.
What?
Mayor Adrian Esper Cardenas of the city of Ciudad Valles, San Luis Potosi, placed a reservation for 10 dual-motor and 5 tri-motor Cybertrucks, saying he believes the Cybertruck will help the town reduce its fleet emissions.
So these are going to be police vehicles and just regular old town vehicles, huh?
I think all police vehicles. Take a look at that. You get your 2 police officers in the back.
That's
ready to hop out and
very funny.
arrest people.
It's a funny photoshopped image.
And the Dubai police are also interested in the Cybertruck. So, yeah. I mean, a lot of police forces around the world want the Cybertruck.
And especially when they start rolling out, I think with the lights and the paint scheme, because right now we've only seen the like civilian version of the truck. And I think as soon as you see it in cool police colors, because we haven't even talked about cool liveries that you could do with this truck, I think it's going to be very popular.
Now, in 1989, a couple from Long Island bought an unclaimed storage unit at a blind auction for $100. You've seen shows like this, like Storage Wars and stuff like that, right?
Uh-huh. Did they find like a piano?
Guess what was inside it?
A piano.
A 1976 Lotus Esprit sports car, which was used in the 1977 James Bond film The Spy Who Loved Me.
Okay.
Now, the couple only found out what they really had when the truck driver who was driving the car back to their home CB'd them on the radio and was like, you know what I got here in the back of the truck? This is a famous car
from James Bond.
So the husband then rented a VHS of the movie because he had never seen the movies before, and found out, oh my gosh, this is a famous car. It was later auctioned in 2013 for $997,000 to a secret buyer.
James Bond.
Well, not as spy-ish as James Bond. Maybe a little more nerdy. Has a little more money than James Bond.
More money than James Bond. Doesn't he just have suit briefcases full of cash that he needs to give to Russian oligarchs?
Yeah, so Elon Musk bought it at auction as a secret buyer. We then later found out in a Jalopnik article that it was Elon. He said, it was amazing as a little kid in South Africa to watch James Bond in The Spy Who Loved Me drive his Lotus Esprit off a pier, press a button, and have it transform into a submarine underwater. I was disappointed to learn that it can't actually transform. What I'm going to do is to upgrade it with a Tesla electric powertrain and try to make it transform for real. I don't know if it actually has or not because it's just sitting in the Tesla design studio, but Wet Nelly was converted to an electric sub with 4 props and no wheels, and an ex-Navy SEAL in the movie drove it with scuba gear on.
So it's full of water?
Yeah, it's full of water.
Okay. But it can function as a submarine, just not the kind that you can breathe in without a scuba gear.
Right, but it is electric.
Oh.
And if you want to see it, it's sitting in the Tesla design studio.
It's true. We walked past it on the way to the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
A lot of people said that this was the inspiration for the Cybertruck.
Yeah, I mean, Elon has said so. Remember during the recent shareholder meeting, Elon and the gang announced there's going to be the GigaFactory 4 in Europe, and they showed a little picture. And they said, this is just a stock photo of Europe, but I'm sure someone will reverse engineer it and find out where this is. Well, guess what?
What?
One of our viewers, Tim from Neff Level, he found out where that location was. Take it away, Tim.
Hello, Zach and Jesse. We are live at the place where Tesla made their generic picture of the Europe GigaFactory 4. You see this sign is typical. This, you can see this sign. Over there, there's this little pond. You can see in the picture. Over there, there's this barn-like thing, the houses, and back there, another barn or industry. You feel the energy, the 7 degrees Celsius, typical close to Hamburg weather. We're close to Rosengarten, south of Hamburg. Close to the Autobahn. When you think you stay here, and Elon Musk is joking about someone tried to reverse engineer where this area is, and we found it. We reverse engineered it. The real Gigafactory 4 close to Berlin is, let me think, this is south. So more in 350 kilometers in this direction. So it's not here.
Wow. I mean, he knew that it was going to be somewhere in Europe/Germany. He probably was thinking Germany because Elon said Germany. But a lot of Germany looks like this, right?
Germany's a big country.
You can't narrow it down to be like, oh, well, of course, this looks like a particular part of Germany. It just looks like Germany.
That's amazing.
Super duper amazing. But of course, we do know where the actual Gigafactory is going, and it isn't that location.
No, it's about 350 kilometers away in Berlin.
So it's true. So Elon actually didn't make a scavenger hunt of any kind. Although, I don't know, maybe there was some secret message or secret, time capsule that you could have pulled out of the ground.
Maybe Tim found it. I don't know.
Maybe someone else got to it first. I don't know.
Anyway, good job, Tim, because that was some great reverse engineering.
How cool is that? So some Model 3 owners, including myself, have gotten an email from Tesla.
Oh, what did it say?
It says that my complimentary year of premium connectivity is ending at the end of the year. And after this date, my car will switch to standard connectivity.
What does that mean?
Well, it means that I'm going to lose my beautiful Google Maps. It means that I'm going to not be able to use Netflix or karaoke unless I'm connected to Wi-Fi. It means that I'm losing my traffic data.
Oh, no. What can you do?
Well, I can actually start to pay for premium connectivity.
Oh, what does that cost?
It costs $10 a month, which is pretty fair.
Wait, so why did you get the email and I've got a Model 3 and I didn't get the email?
Well, it's for Teslas that came out after July of 2018.
I've got premium connectivity forever? For free?
It would seem so, yeah.
Oh.
And
sorry, dude.
Well, the good news here, the thing to think about is there is the ability to use a hotspot. So if you wanted to, you could go buy a hotspot, hook it onto your own plan. The thing with this is, if you're going to be watching any amount of Netflix or Hulu or YouTube, you're pretty much going to be paying more than $9 a month.
Oh, for all that data.
For all that data. So if you really think about it, if you really break it down, we're just paying for a little bit of usage. And I'm sure that some people never use YouTube and never use Netflix, and some people use a lot. Another thing that they're going to start doing is limiting data usage.
Oh, so how much data can you use?
We don't know. It says on their website under the FAQ that they have the ability to limit your usage if you go over a certain amount daily. It says you can find out more by going to their big, long
Oh, yeah, I saw you reading that.
terms and conditions. I read it for about an hour. There's nothing there. It doesn't say how much data. There's no actual limit. I think that this is just so that way, if the whole fleet is using too much data and they realize that they're hemorrhaging money, they can start to basically not put caps on usage, but put caps on bandwidth. Oh. So they'll limit your bandwidth. So this affects a lot of Tesla owners. I think a lot of people are going to be kind of peeved by this because you bought the car with premium connectivity. It wasn't very clear as to when or how you would lose premium connectivity and go back to standard, but I think that $10 a month is pretty fair.
Right. I remember when I got Sparky, I thought I was getting 4 years of data for free, and that would put me at 2020. Mm-hmm. So maybe I'll be getting an email at some point. Who knows? Right.
We don't know. But so far, this is the thing. It kind of sucks, but it is still a pretty good deal at $10 a month. I wish it didn't have to happen, but, they are paying for our data to watch Netflix in the car.
For $10 a month, I feel like Tesla should start their own streaming service that has their own, Apple's doing it now, Disney's doing it. So what if Tesla started having their own Tesla shows on the network?
and just in the cars.
That would be pretty cool.
This could be one of the shows. Tesla, reach out to us. We'd love to do a deal. Absolutely.
So according to Electrek and a communication to sales employees, Tesla designed less bulky seats for the Model S, resulting in more legroom for the second row seats, regardless of the configuration. Now, take a look here. This is the old seats. And now this is the new seats. Let's put them side by side. That'll make it easier. So boys, put them side by side. It's really hard to see any difference. I think you'd have to sit in them to see if there's any difference. I'm guessing they feel better, but I have no idea.
Well,
anyway, I would love to know from people who are getting the new seats, like to comment or email us to let us know, like if you feel any difference.
Right. Well, and keep in mind that the back of the seat is where a lot of the comfort comes for the rear passengers,
right?
Because, this is a battle of inches, not feet. So any 1 inch is going to feel like, oh, luxurious. Like if anyone who's been on an airplane knows that every inch counts when we're talking knees.
Right. So get this. Based on cumulative sales, Tesla has become the world's largest electric auto manufacturer, surpassing BYD.
BYD is the Chinese electric car company.
Yeah.
And if we're looking at these numbers, a lot of those sales are plug-in hybrids.
For BYD, yeah.
So they're not even full electric cars.
True. Now, this is data from Kevin Rook, and he has charted the sales of BYD and Tesla. And I mean, look how close they have been through the months.
That's really, really impressive.
Yeah.
More impressive, I would say, for Tesla, because they are manufacturing in the United States. They're making a car with high crash safety ratings, high ranges, all fully electric. BYD is doing amazing things. I'm not putting them down. They're making buses, but keep in mind that they're manufacturing in China. A lot of the cars that they make don't have anywhere near the same safety regulations or range. So I think that it's really impressive that Tesla is able to keep up with the Chinese company when we're talking EVs. I mean, the Chinese market has such incentives for EVs that is what's been helping BYD get along. Tesla hasn't had much of that.
Yeah, I mean, look at these numbers. BYD has sold 787,150, and then neck and neck with them, Tesla has sold 807,954 vehicles.
Wow. And look at the curve, right? That is an S curve. That explosion in growth as it goes up.
Yeah, and really interesting to notice here is at the end of the curve there, BYD in blue is kind of topping out, it looks like, whereas Tesla in red is starting to accelerate more.
I don't know.
I think so.
That's too close to call.
Let's see. We'll have to watch in the following months. So this is exciting. We got another AP over-the-air update, this time with few new features.
What? Since I'm over here with my car...
Oh, did you get it?
I can update it right now.
All right. Well, let me tell you what you're going to get. So this is 2019.40.2, and this over-the-air update has just come out, and it has a new AP feature and some improvements. It has adjacent lane speed adjustment. When your vehicle is moving at a significantly faster speed than vehicles in neighboring lanes, Autopilot now automatically reduces your driving speed. This is helpful in heavy traffic situations or when there is a long line of vehicles merging into a different lane or exiting onto an off-ramp. When your vehicle detects that adjacent lane traffic is significantly slower, the lane is highlighted with arrows and its vehicles are highlighted gray in the driving visualization. This speed adjustment can be temporarily overridden by pressing the accelerator pedal. Now, can you explain this a little bit?
So this, I think, is a really, really smart safety feature that Tesla is adding. Think about it when you're driving along. When there's traffic all backed up in the right two lanes, and say you're in the passing lane, are you going to be going, 80 miles an hour when everyone else is going like 10 to 15 miles an hour? No, because there's a high chance that someone who's not paying much attention or who is paying attention but you're going so ridiculously fast isn't going to see you coming up on their left. They're going to want to get around other people, so they're going to be cutting into your lane. And that is going to create a very dangerous situation. Another thing that this might help with is when everyone is getting out of the left-hand lane because there's something in the way, whether it's an accident, an emergency vehicle that's stopped, cones, whatever it is. It should be a little light bulb that goes off in your head that says, hey, why am I speeding along here in the left lane when everyone else to the right of me is slowing down? There's a good chance that you're going to need to merge over to the right. And we've seen this before where Teslas have crashed into emergency vehicles on the left side of the highway with people who aren't paying much attention and going very fast. And so this is going to give the automatic emergency braking an extra second or two to detect that, slam on the brakes and save you from an accident, because if you're only going to be going a few miles an hour faster than the people on your right, that means that you're going to be much safer. I think that's a really smart improvement.
This is another one I'm really excited about. This is automatic lane change improvements. It says automatic lane changes have been tuned to make lane changes with more confidence. When the adjacent lane is detected to be open, automatic lane changes will initiate faster and be more assertive.
I think that anyone who's used Tesla Autopilot and done the lane changes will tell you that if it's at all a little hairy, your car will kind of abort or take too long to get into the next lane.
That's what I find. It's like a 16-year-old. Like, should I go? Should I go? Should I go? And it's like, you have to just go.
Right. I mean, I can't wait to see how it actually feels, because again, the feel is the most important thing. Like, obviously, if it went like, and you're like, whoa, that would be bad.
Right.
I don't think that's going to be the case, but we should see what it does.
And there's auto steer stop sign warning. So your car may warn you in some cases if it detects that you are about to run a stop sign, in addition to stop lights, while auto steer is in use. This is not a substitute for an attentive driver and will not stop the car. So what's this about?
So when you're in auto steer, so that's basically autopilot, you're going along, there's a stop sign or a stop light, it will maybe warn you about it. I think that this is really, really smart. There are some places, some highways, some roads where you might be an autopilot and there might be a stoplight or a stop sign. I remember I was somewhere in Wisconsin and there was a highway, 3-lane highway, and then all of a sudden just stoplight. And to me, someone who's lived in the Northeast, I only have seen stoplights on like Route 2. And so to see that and to just be like, whoa, if there was a stoplight there, really helpful to have something that might warn you if you're not paying fully attention.
So this seems like it's the next phase in autopilot where they're, before they were starting to see the signs, now they're seeing them and warning you about them. Next step might be that they actually stop at them.
Right. And this is another way for Tesla to train the neural nets, is that it'll say, I was pretty sure that was a stop sign and the person stopped. So that's a good indication that that was a stop sign. So we can call through the data, George can kind of go through and be like, check. And okay, now we'll train the neural net. That is a stop sign, very confident. That means that later on, the car itself will say, that's a stop sign, I'm coming to a stop.
Now, according to the Detroit Free Press, the site known as the Detroit Dock allegedly collapsed under the weight of large aggregate piles that were stored there at the site during Thanksgiving weekend. Due to the timing of the collapse, the spill went unnoticed to many responsible state and federal environmental regulatory agencies. EPA officials were not aware of the collapse until contacted by the Windsor Star on Wednesday, December 5th.
Who cares? I mean, aggregate piles of like dirt and rocks and stuff.
Oh, there's a little bit more in there. That site contained nuclear materials from the Manhattan Project. Remember the Manhattan Project? It was a little before your time. It was the construction of the atomic bomb for World War II. Anyway, it was full of uranium rods that were constructed there, and this was rated high for residual contamination. Well, now it just fell into the river, and no one noticed it for over a week.
This sounds like something that a Batman villain would do. Yeah. He'd go, they won't notice that all of the uranium rods dumped into the river because it's Thanksgiving weekend. And then Batman would swoop in and be like, I don't think so. And then he'd beat the crap out of him. Wait, this isn't fiction.
No, in fact, in similar news, Germany is looking for a place to store its nuclear power plant waste since they shut down all 7 of their reactors after the Fukushima disaster in 2011. Now, they only need to find a place. Maybe you have a place on Airbnb. It has to be a kilometer underground that is stable with no water flow, and it's going to be sealed off sometime between 2130 and 2170.
And so how long is it going to be down there? Like, how long until it's no longer radioactive?
So tens of thousands of years till you get to the half-life. So, I don't know, probably to be conservative, at least 100,000 years.
But like, what?
Yeah.
But there's nothing on Earth that is that old that humans have constructed.
Right.
Like the pyramids, very old, not even freaking close to that.
Right.
So that would be like if we discovered the pyramids and there were like uranium rods in there and they were like, hey, get. There were a bunch of hieroglyphics of people being like, no, go away. This is dangerous stuff. We messed up and we made like, what?
Well, I mean, that's my problem with nuclear power. It's green because it doesn't, emit CO2, but then you have nuclear waste that you have to do something with. And
it's not very sustainable.
Right.
Because the sustain part that's too far in advance. You can't plan that far in advance.
We can't even plan. I mean, they want to close this off between 2130 and 2170. That's over 100 years from now. Like, humans aren't even going to remember what was happening 100 years past.
Right, you basically have to set up something. You know how, like, when you're like established in 1975, and you're like, wow, that car dealership or that furniture company was established in 1975. This would be like if it was like established in 18 whatever, and our job is to seal off this thing, like,
and keep it safe for thousands of years.
That's just ridiculous. Yeah. And the alternative is apparently you keep it on a dock on a river. You keep nuclear
up near
waste.
Canada. You just push it as close to Canada as you can.
Why would you ever
Your problem, Canada.
Why would you put nuclear waste Thanksgiving weekend on a dock?
You just said it.
On a river.
That's the plot. They got rid of it, didn't they?
Why would you
gone
put
now.
it in a? It's not. It's like the opposite of gone.
Well, it's gone for whoever's in charge of it.
It's so frustrating.
Oh, sorry, it's gone.
Right.
Yeah. So you remember this company, Jesse, Sono Motors. They have that awesome solar-powered EV, the Scion, that has 155 miles of range. It can recharge itself up to 30 kilometers a day from solar on the roof.
Yep.
And it's priced at 16,000 euros with an additional fee for the battery, about 9,500 euros. So total price with batteries and everything is about 25,500 euros.
Wow, so that's less than $30,000.
Yeah, for a solar-powered EV.
That's not bad.
Now, the problem is they're saying that they need to crowdfund $50 million in the next 30 days to survive as a company.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so Sono had been targeting late 2020 to start production in the former Saab factory in Sweden. So now they have launched a campaign to get donations, pre-orders, and even loans. Within the first few hours, the good news is they raised 2.7 million euros, but they're only up to about 7 million euros now, and there's not many days left. So if you're thinking about wanting to put down a pre-order, you can go help them. You can give them a donation or a loan. Anyway, go check it out. It might be the car for you.
So according to Reuters, the Japanese Government Pension Investment Fund, or GPIF, is the world's largest pension fund, and they have just stopped stock lending for short selling. So all of the money that they have, $391 billion worth of investment, they're preventing short sellers from borrowing their stocks and short selling with it. They said that the practice is inconsistent with its responsibilities as a long-term investor.
And Elon tweeted out, "Bravo, right thing to do. Short selling should be illegal."
Because it's the opposite of an investment. You're investing that the future will be worse. And I don't think that humanity should be doing that.
So New York City has given special permissions to Amazon, UPS, and DHL to use electric cargo bikes to deliver packages in New York City.
This will be a part of a program to test whether these package delivery companies can replace large delivery trucks with these smaller delivery solutions.
Now, most of the cargo bikes will be concentrated in the busiest parts of Manhattan, which is from 60th Street and south.
Wow, that's a lot of Manhattan.
So these e-bikes will be allowed to park in commercial loading areas.
One impetus for this is that trucks have been involved in 13 of the 27 crashes that have killed bicyclists so far this year in New York City.
Wow.
So trucks, obviously not the best solution for such a dense urban setting.
Yeah, trucks don't work in Manhattan. I mean, they block so many lanes of traffic and they're so hard to park. The cool thing here is that they're going to start with 100 e-bikes as part of the program. 90 of them already belong to Amazon. So Amazon's already got the lead here. But they're going to allow them to park in commercial truck loading zones. So they'll take up far less space.
And I think that there's a benefit for more people. You can have people that don't need to have trucking licenses to operate a bicycle. It's just a bicycle. And the deliveries are going to be a lot less, first of all, carbon intensive, and secondly, traffic intensive on the city of New York. I think that this is a smart way to go, and I think that a lot of urban centers would benefit from this.
Yeah. I think it's also going to save a lot of money. I mean, we know that it's cheaper to drive an electric bike than a big truck. The emissions are zero,
right?
Which is fantastic for saving the planet. And there's way less insurance costs and registration costs and all that kind of stuff.
And if all trucks were replaced with these bicycle delivery modes, it would have saved 13 lives.
I know.
I think that's an important thing to keep in mind.
So Lee Go had this happen to his Model 3 in Newport Beach, California.
He just stabbed the tire?
I know. It really surprised
What? Where are these? Where do we find these people?
Like, he put down his gym bag, and I thought, like, he was looking for his keys or something. No, he took out a knife and stabbed it. Yeah, so Lee shared this video with police, and luckily, Go said he got confirmation that the police had identified and arrested the subject shortly afterward. Now, according to California law, anyone who defaces, damages, or destroys someone else's property is guilty of vandalism and can be charged with either a misdemeanor or a felony.
Now, one important point here is that it's pretty hard to review your Sentry mode footage. Now, obviously, when you get a flat tire, you're going to be like, something happened, I need to check my footage. But for like a minor scratch or like gee, I wonder what was happening around my car while I parked here, there's a cool app. It's called the Tesla Cam Reviewer app. It's just for Androids. Sorry, iPhone people. There are iPhone versions, but they cost money because it's an Apple product and they know that they can get you. But it allows you to plug in the USB to your phone.
Oh, and review it right there.
And review it right on your phone.
Now, you know, if you made us the VP of Special Operations, Tesla, I think one of the things we would bring you is being able to review the footage right in your car.
Right. You have this big screen. It's already got the thing plugged into it. It could just say, would you like to review? And then you say yes. And then it would just show you the sections that were important. You could do whatever you wanted to do. You could then you could email it to somebody.
Right.
It would just be like, email to police, send, whatever. Shady looking person.
We wouldn't need an office or anything. All we want is, I just want a cool business card. That's all I really want. I just want it to say,
cool business card.
Zach Cataldo
and
Special Operations.
And email addresses of all the important people that we would need to contact to get these balls rolling.
No salary either. I would take $1 a year.
I think I might do $5.
Okay.
If that's okay.
All right.
Is that fair?
So, Jesse, what's the #1 Tesla selling country in Europe?
Norway. It's always been Norway. Norway has been kicking butt.
And the answer is?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Netherlands.
It's always been Norway.
It has been, but check this out. Model 3 sales in the Netherlands have been growing. Now the Netherlands has become Tesla's biggest European market for 2019, with 18,460 Teslas sold in the Netherlands so far this year. Norway is trailing at 17,403.
Wow. But Netherlands is so tiny.
I know, but it's right there at the dock. I think people are just like, I'm going to move to the Netherlands to get my car faster.
Wow. So, I mean, it's not lost for Norway, right?
No, they could still come back. They got a month, and, if they really pushed, I suppose, if they start now, get on their app and order, they could probably pull it out.
And, I mean, the Netherlands is ending some incentives by the end of this year.
Well, that's what the big push is on for.
Oh, I see.
So, yeah.
So Norway might come back and take its place as #1.
Let's see. So currently, the Jaguar I-Pace range is 234 miles EPA. Jaguar says they have tweaked the torque distribution of the permanent all-wheel drive system to get greater efficiency in eco mode, and there are additional tweaks for an additional 8% or 18 miles of range.
Wow, that's great. An OTA update, and boom, you wake up to having more range.
No, that's a TTD update.
What's a TTD update?
Through the dealer. You got to drive your car down to the dealer. They install the software update.
Why?
Well,
it's 2019.
Well, the good news is Jaguar says that after this update, you should be able to get your updates over the air.
So this update has the connect to server and download the next update.
What?
It's been on our phones since 2007?
Yeah, but you have to keep in mind these are auto dealers that make primarily ICE cars. They weren't ready for this. It's taken a while.
Good on Jaguar for actually improving the range of their car in eco mode.
Exactly.
And I'm hopeful that they'll have fun over-the-air updates to come.
Yeah.
That could be great.
So GM just announced that they will be partnering with LG Chem to build a 30 gigawatt-hour battery factory.
So it's a GigaFactory.
Well, they're not calling it that, but yeah.
But it's a GigaFactory. According to Elon's definition,
sure,
that is a GigaFactory. So now we're going to that's another GigaFactory in the world.
Sure, yeah. You can look at it that way.
We need roughly 100 to get to fully sustainable transportation.
So, we're up to 3.
Okay. How much is it going to cost?
$2.3 billion. It's a joint venture between the two companies.
And this is going in, I'm assuming, in Shenzhen.
Oh, no, this is going in Lordstown, Ohio. This is where GM recently sold its factory to the EV startup Lordstown Motors. Remember, that's the company that was affiliated with Workhorse, the one making the pickup truck.
So, wait, let me just get this straight. So GM has a factory in Lordstown.
They had one. They sold it.
Right. So then they sold that factory.
Now they're
going to build a factory.
That's efficient, huh?
Couldn't you just keep the
they could have.
factory?
Yeah, that would have been smart.
But I mean, I get it. It's a truck factory.
Yeah, but a truck factory is just a giant building with robots.
But it's made for making trucks, and Lordstown Motors is going to be working with Workhorse, we think, to make trucks. So it could make more sense. Maybe you get a better deal out of it if you sell it to Lordstown Motors, who wanted to make trucks from the truck factory that you sold them.
Yep. So GM will make the packs, and LG Chem will be in charge of cell production, kind of like how Panasonic is in charge of making cells at the GigaFactory 1, and Tesla makes the packs. They'll start building this factory mid-2020, and when completed, it should bring LG Chem's entire battery cell production capacity to over 100 gigawatt hours per year.
That's super impressive, especially for LG Chem. What a great deal.
It really is, because, I mean, think about it. Basically, GM is like, we'll build you a factory, and we'll buy the robots, and then we'll buy your cells from you, please.
It's a good deal.
We need batteries really bad.
It's a pretty similar deal to the GigaFactory one with Panasonic and Tesla. I'm just curious as to where these batteries are going to be ending up. Are they all going into bolts?
Well, they're going to be largely going into GM's new electric Hummer and their new electric Cadillac SUV. Look at this. This just in. Tesla's top priorities.
Ooh.
In an email from Elon Musk last week, employees were told throughout Tesla of Elon's top Tesla priorities.
Wow. Oh my gosh, this is important. Should I write this down?
Yeah, you probably should. Okay, you ready? Number 1. The first priority is making sure all cars are delivered to their customers before the end of the year.
Yeah,
Got that? Did you write that down? Okay, number 2.
I could have guessed that one.
The second, just as important, is that we immediately increase the rate of solar deployments by a significant degree. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, did you write that down? You got that? Those are the top 2 Tesla priorities from Elon. What, you weren't writing anything.
Those are kind of boring.
What do you mean they're boring?
I just didn't think it was that exciting.
What you were expecting? What were you expecting?
I don't know. I was expecting numbers.
Yeah, I think Elon learned from last time not to mention numbers. I think they're shooting for 100,000 cars, but I think he knew if he said a number, then analysts would just be like, is he going to make the number? Is he not?
Well, and what analysts do is they take his number, they like add 20% as their like target because they think that he's being conservative, which he's never being conservative. And then when he like hits or slightly exceeds the target or slightly falls behind the target, they are like, well, this is ridiculous. That's not even close to what we thought it was going to be. So I think it is smart by not having a number of car deliveries. So that way, analysts have to come up with their own number, which is probably going to be a lot more conservative than Tesla's numbers.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
When he sends out these emails, were employees just sitting around like, wait, there's an email. Oh, crap, I got to get to work. Like, what? I'm trying to picture how that affects how they work. Like, all right, Jesse, check this out. I know how much you like crash test videos.
It pains me.
Well, this is a Taycan, so it doesn't pain you as much, does it?
It still pains me a
Anyway,
little.
the Taycan got 5 stars from the Euro NCAP rating.
Nice.
And if you check it out here, they got really good numbers for all of their other like adult occupant, child occupant, all that kind of stuff.
That's great.
And Model X here got 5 stars from Euro NCAP as well. And in fact, not to be outdone, the Tesla Model X not only got 5 stars and also got higher safety ratings in almost every category than the Taycan, but in fact, the Model X was named a standout performer by Euro NCAP.
And a lot of this has to do with the smarts of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Being able, not only is it super safe, we pretty much already knew that, but not hitting things is
super important.
And a layer of safety that I don't think enough people give Tesla credit for. Because sure, crash test safety is important, but you know how the crash test dummies would do if you took the sled and you just went like, whoosh, and you just missed and you didn't hit the car?
Yeah.
Those crash test dummies experience no G's and no damage.
Now, according to research out from Deutsche Bank, Tesla will be getting parts deliveries for the Model Y sooner than expected, meaning that the Model Y could start being delivered in Q1.
Now, we reported earlier that these are indications of an accelerated delivery timeline, but this is even more ammunition for that theory.
Now, don't get too excited because if we remember, Model 3 had cars delivered off the line in July of 2017 for like VIPs and early order people. And it wasn't until December of 2017 that Tesla was making them in any numbers. I mean, our Model 3 is about 1,000 off the line, and we got it in December of 2017.
Keep in mind, though, that Tesla has learned a lot since the Model 3. But we could be getting a huge deliveries of Model Ys in Q1.
I mean, that's little as 4 months away. And speaking of Model Y deliveries, Matt Gonzalez snapped some photos of a Model Y in the wild with a tow hitch.
Ooh.
Which means it might be able to make some deliveries of its own.
Remember that Elon promised this, so it shouldn't be that big a surprise. But the Model 3 has only had the tow hitch in Europe, which actually gives us a little bit of nice data, because if the Model Y has the same stats as the Model 3, it should be able to tow 910 kilograms or 2,000 pounds.
Yeah, which is pretty much all you need for light towing.
Exactly.
All right, here's an interesting story from Electrek about Jensen Gadley. He's a Model 3 owner in Las Vegas who Turo'd his car. You know, that means you rent out your car on Turo. And he rented it out to some Porsche engineers. So he met with the engineers at a parking lot in Las Vegas where they arrived in a Taycan, which, by the way, isn't even out yet. So he was like, wait, who are these people?
Right.
And he asked them some questions, and he found out that they are engineers for Porsche. And one of them is named Manuel Leher, whose position at Porsche is listed as Entwicklungsingenieur for Assistance System,
which translates to Development Engineer Driver Assistance Systems.
So they attracted a crowd as they were busy testing the system out, and they like jumped in front of the car and stuff. And then they rented the car for a day, and they came back really impressed with how much version 10 has improved.
This strikes me as such a weird story.
Yeah. Your Porsche.
Your Porsche.
So here's my question. First of all, either buy one.
Right.
And then you can test it any time you want. Now, you might say, well, in Europe, you can't use a smart summon. So buy one in America. Or better yet, Porsche, you must have a friend. Like, dial a friend.
Do none of your dealers have, like, a wife with a Model 3? Like, really? Really?
You have to Turo it?
You have to Turo it from just some guy? You can't... I mean, you can't even, like, go to a rental car place. Like, I get that you wouldn't be able to do auto summon, so you needed someone with an account. But you don't have any friends with Model 3s that you could do this with?
Also, like, later when you get back to the factory and you're like, oh, I have a question. Then what, do you have to go back to America and Turo it again? Like,
the price of flying two engineers out to Las Vegas, putting them up, and then Turoing a car, you could have bought a car. Or just, really? You couldn't have just put out your feelers, done it a little bit, so that way we wouldn't be talking about how impressed you were with version 10? You're Porsche. You shouldn't be impressed with anything. The only thing you should be impressed with is the Taycan. You should be like, everything else is crap. The Taycan is the coolest thing there is. That's what you should be saying. That's what Porsche is. Don't be impressed with things. I don't know. Well, I understand that you are impressed.
Is that their new tagline? Porsche. We're not impressed with anything.
You shouldn't be. You're Porsche. You should just be impressed with Porsche things. Because everything else should be not as good. Unless you're like, well, you could get a Koenigsegg or something. But besides that, why? Just do it under the cover of darkness. Pay the guy off. What? You paid off so many people for Dieselgate. Why did you not pay off this guy? I don't get it.
So in all the hubbub of the Cybertruck unveiling, Mercedes-Benz's announcement about the price for their new EQC all-electric SUV got kind of lost.
The starting price will be $67,900 for the 200-mile range, 402 horsepower luxury crossover.
Now, that's $8,000 less than the Audi e-tron, which has a starting price of $75,000 with similar numbers, 204-mile range and about the same horsepower. But while I think this is good and I love all EVs, I do think this is kind of ho-hum, I gotta say. I mean, for a 200-mile range car to sell at this price, I gotta think a lot of people are gonna be like, well, I'll just wait for a Model Y. All right, so this was a quick one and done here. It happened in 1 week. I thought it was one of those things that was going to last longer, but this is the Unsworth defamation lawsuit against Elon Musk. So Elon Musk was sued by Vernon Unsworth for $190 million in LA District Court for defamation of his character. So to put this in context, remember during the summer of 2018, a Thai soccer team and their coach got stuck in some underground caves in Thailand, and then then flooding came and started to, basically they couldn't get out.
Right,
so they were stuck in there.
The tunnels like flooded upward so that way they couldn't get out the way they came in, and it was
It attracted worldwide attention, and dive teams from all over the world went to try and rescue them, and there was theories on how to do it, and no one could seem to figure out how to, it's one thing to get someone to them, but then you had to get them out, right? So one of the things that Elon did at the time was he asked the dive teams in Thailand, like, what can I help with? Could I make a submarine? And he asked them, like, should it be flexible? Should it be rigid? He was told to make it rigid. So him and his team at SpaceX started working on a rigid submarine that they could get one person in to try and get one person out at a time.
And so it was just this little tube.
It looks like a torpedo.
Right, big enough to carry one person in with a breathing apparatus. So that way, basically, the inside would be this little mini submarine.
Right.
You wouldn't need to, these were just young boys who didn't know how to scuba dive. So obviously it's pretty hard to get into a cave, teach them how to scuba dive, and then scuba dive them out of like the most difficult scuba diving cave situation you could possibly imagine.
Right. So there was a CNN interview with Vernon Unsworth, who is a cave expert and a Thailand resident. And during the interview, he said that Musk can stick his submarine where it hurts. Basically saying that Elon was doing all this as a PR stunt and he should get his nose out of it. And then Elon tweeted back that famous pedo guy tweet describing Unsworth. Well, this turned into the defamation lawsuit. So last Tuesday, during the first day of the trial, Musk and Unsworth took the stand. Musk and his lawyer claimed that the pedo guy tweet was meant as a colloquialism, stating, "I want to be clear. I did not accuse Mr. Unsworth of being a pedophile. No one took it that way." Unsworth testified, "It feels very raw. I feel humiliated, ashamed, dirty. Effectively, from day one, I was given a life sentence without parole."
On Friday, the jury came back in an hour, finding Elon Musk not liable for defamation.
Now, Unsworth kind of had to sue Musk, in my opinion, to save his reputation. But let's remember that Unsworth started this whole thing. Why do you have to be so unprofessional? Like, when Elon is just trying to save the boys, even if you think he's a jerk, even if you think he's just doing a PR stunt, why not just say, "Thanks, Elon. Talk to you later"?
This, I think, is the problem that Elon has, which is that he is a billionaire. If he was I don't know how to change his reputation to the average person. But basically, anytime anyone thinks of Elon Musk and they don't know all of the things that Elon Musk does or is doing or why he seems to be doing them, people seem to act like this is as if Jeff Bezos were trying to do the exact same thing. And I think that there is a difference between Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. Sure, they're both billionaires, but one person is trying to basically transform the world's transportation and energy generation systems to be one of fully sustainability, and the other person is trying to sell you cheap crap that they ship you from China. There's a big difference there, and I think that difference is really easily lost on people because to them, you don't have a lot of time to be thinking about, what does Elon Musk stand for? And so when you're in the middle of a dive rescue or whatever, it's very easy to just view this as like, this is a guy looking for a PR stunt because he's a billionaire. You may not know that he's a great engineer and that this sub may have come in handy. It may have come in handy. Now, the Thai divers did a wonderful job saving the soccer team. But again, we just don't know what would have happened had the flooding continued to get worse, or if the Thai divers weren't as successful.
And I think a lot of people mistake the fact that when he tweets something out, he's not doing it to just be like, "Look at me." He's doing it so he can get feedback from people, because there's a lot of smart people out there, and they tweet him back all the time with ideas.
Right.
All right, it's time for our video contributor story. What do we got this week, Jess?
We have Charles in Namibia. Charles, take it away.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. I'd like to introduce you to Namibia. Land of sun and not so many electric cars, but we got a couple of i3s, a couple of Nissan Leafs knocking around, and then we have my little project car. So this is a 1995 Fiat Uno, obviously in purple. But what I'd like to show you is we have a couple of solar panels on the roof, and this is an EV. So I'm plugged in right now and I'm juicing up from my solar setup. But this is the other part of of my sort of green ride around. This is a nice 6 kilowatt fat bike. And on the worst of days, it puts a lot of Amarok and Land Cruiser drivers to shame, in town obviously. Alright, as you can see, I'm drawing 19 amps from the batteries, but the other 20 odd is coming from this guy. You want to talk about driving green? Well, the fuel for my batteries in my EV doesn't come from the power station. It comes from renewable energy. So I'm directly charging my car from the sun.
That is so cool. Solar powered all the way.
So awesome. And in Namibia, solar power must just be like, you must get a huge boost for being so close to the equator.
Yeah. All right, it's time for our Patreon bonus stories. If you'd like to support us on the show, head on over to Patreon. You can support us for as little as $1 a month, and you're going to get to see a whole lot of stories. This week, I think we've got like 10 stories or more.
At least. So it's practically another
whole show.
Another whole show almost.
Yeah, it's all the stories that we just can't fit into the other show. We'll see you there. All right, we're back from our Patreon bonus stories, and it's time for our Patreon shout-outs. And I just got to say that Patreon bonus stories we had a lot of stories.
We had a lot to talk
crushed them
about
in there.
beyond the stories.
Yeah,
There's, it's kind of like when your history teacher would like get off topic and you're just like, yes, like it felt like that, except we were the history teachers getting off topic.
All right, who do we got for Patreon shout-outs this week?
We have MJ Amanian,
Eric T. Ansley,
Mike Irving,
John Greger,
Max and Ashley Hall,
Kevin Mueller,
Nick Baker,
Benjamin Hutchinson,
Ed Hutchinson,
Chrono Journer,
Eric Karasik,
Bill and Robin Korb, QISC,
Nicholas S. Bauer,
and Eric Anderson.
Thank you so much for supporting the show. It wouldn't happen without you.
Your names are going up at the end of the show. All right, it's time for Elon's tweets of the week.
I love this one. Speed solves everything. Is that a drug reference?
I don't know.
I hope it's not.
He's so funny.
I know.
Wow. And then Elon listens to us. I mean, get this. Remember this from way back in June of 2018?
Yeah.
When Elon said, "What would you love to see in a Tesla pickup truck? I have a few things in mind, but what do you think are small but important nuances and what would be seriously next level?" And then he tweeted out, "This may sound crazy, but asking real people what they'd like in a product is a great way to meet their needs." So yeah, he asked us what we think, what we should do, and then he now thanks us. Huge thanks to everyone who contributed ideas to Cybertruck. It's better because of you. Yeah, maybe the reason why this Cybertruck's so amazing is not only that Elon and Franz are amazing, which they are, but they listen to us. And then Tesla owner Silicon Valley said, "Any updates on the ATV?"
Elon says, "We'll aim to have it come out same time as truck. 2-seater electric ATV designed to work with Cybertruck will be fun. Electric dirt bikes would be cool too. We won't do road bikes as too dangerous. I was hit by a truck and almost died on one when I was 17.
CEO choosing to do something or not because of what he wants to do. Good for him.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
And then this last one, hydrogen is a light odorless gas, which given enough time turns into people who will make this statement. And then Zachariah said, given enough time, hydrogen will start to wonder where it came from. And Elon said, after a while, hydrogen became sentient.
It's nice that Elon is a real person. It's kind of like your friend. Like, you don't take your friends seriously all the time, do you?
All right, it's time for community mail time.
Community mail time. So one of our friends, Philip, shared with us this design of the Cybertruck with a glass door extension for better off-roading control. So that swoop that you're seeing on the side of the Cybertruck...
Oh, wait, that's glass?
That's glass, so you could actually see down to practically where your front tires would be.
So now, is this going to be like aftermarket, or do you think this is like hopefully what Tesla will incorporate into the truck?
Well, this is just Philip's idea, but I think that it's really interesting that you would have... And you can also see there's extra glass towards the back end there, too. I think that it's a nice design touch. I think that the aesthetic is really nice, especially for people who didn't like the look of the truck because it was too boxy. This kind of helps break it up a little bit. But there are some people who really like the design of the Cybertruck and want to see it in more things.
Oh, I think it will.
And so our friend Andreas sent us these cool designs that he made himself of cyber cars and cyber SUVs.
Wait, so work through this. This is the Model X up here in the left-hand corner.
Right. And so the idea is you make a Model X that is the Cybertruck.
Oh, and then over here is like a compact SUV hatchback, and then that's
And you
the
make
hatchback.
it cyber. So that way it's dent-proof, scratch-proof, bulletproof,
agree.
rust-proof, and it's your car, and it looks a lot like the Cybertruck, that cyber design. I think it could be really cool.
All right, it's time for on-air question of the week from our Patreons, and what do we got?
Ryan asks us, would y'all consider doing reviews on the Leaf and Bolt and other EVs? From the perspective of a Tesla owner, I think it would be rather interesting, seeing your likes and dislikes and the length of charge and real-world range, as well as comfort. If anyone was to do a comprehensive review series, I know you guys would knock it out of the park. Oh, thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, I mean, you guys are helping us to get to this point. I feel like we're on the cusp. We've been talking to manufacturers more and more. In fact, the reason we could go to the LA Auto Show and get into all those cars and show them to you on last week's In Depth was because we've grown as a channel and they actually listen to us now.
And so it's not... doesn't have much to do with us. It has a lot to do with you.
Yeah.
So if you aren't subscribed to this channel, subscribe. Whether you want to get updates on us or not, that's up to whether you hit the bell button, really. What that does, that number, is we can then go to a manufacturer, and the manufacturers don't understand YouTube because, let's face it, they're people who just aren't YouTube folks. And we can go to them, we can give them a number, and depending on how big that number is, they will say, yes, we will loan you out a Bolt or a Leaf or one of the new electric cars coming out in an ID3 for you to review or not. And so it's really up to you guys to get us to the point where we can review it.
Right, because I mean, this is why we started this channel. We love EVs. We love all e-mobility. We want to get in those and tell you all about them.
Right.
All right, so it's time for the results of last week's poll. And in fact, we have two. Our first poll was, do you wave at EV drivers?
Most people said yes all the time. That's really nice. I do it all the time.
Interesting that the next group is only when they have the same color or type of car as me. So that's a very tribal thing. It's like, oh, you're in a red car, I'll wave to you. That's very interesting.
I being in a Model 3, though, I don't always feel like I'm able to wave at the Model X owners.
I see.
Hello, sir.
Stop waving at me, you peon. And then next, it was who will win the tug of war. And this, I have never seen results like this before.
On anything.
Wow. Because I think we just gave you the unbiased picture there, but 524 people said the Tesla Cybertruck's going to win.
5 think the Ford F-150 is going to
Now, I got to believe that the 5 people who said Ford own a Ford F-150. I've got to believe that.
I think it's more likely to be misclicks, statistically speaking, with 600-ish people.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for Supercharger reviews. Now, remember that you can go out into the world and help the whole Tesla community by posting your review, and remember to shoot it in landscape mode. And remember to tell us about the amenities and give it a ranking from 1 to 10. What do we got this week?
Hi, Zach and Jesse. Richard here from the UK. I'm at the Arundel Arms Hotel at Lifton, on the way from Devon to Cornwall. A fabulous hotel. It's really designed for lots of fishermen. They have 5 miles of fishing, salmon and trout, if that's your cup of tea. But it's also very green. They have a 6-stall supercharger, and we're charging very quickly, which is good. It's the last real supercharger if you're going to Cornwall. After that, you're on destination chargers. But it's about 2 miles off the main A30. Very easy to get to. Facilities are great at the hotel. They also have some other EV chargers, a biomass boiler, solar array, and it's really good. So I would give it probably 7 out of 10, because in the village they've got a post office and grocery store, so you can go for a coffee whilst you're charging. As I say, there's a 6-stall and last place to charge before you head off to the beautiful area, which is Cornwall. That's Richard from the UK signing off. Thank you.
Hey Zach and Jesse, this is Jonathan reporting to you from Red Deer, Alberta. We have a new supercharger station here. It's located in Gasoline Alley, which is off of Highway 2, and it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stall. And it's still under construction, so it'll be opening here soon, I imagine. They've got all the devices here, so just waiting on the electricians. There's a lot of good amenities around. Right across the street, we got a brand new Popeyes and Cajun fried chicken. And down the street is all your regular fast food joints. And then across the street also over here is a McDonald's. That's everything. Reporting to you from Red Deer, Alberta. Bye.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. We are here at the Chico, California Supercharger. There are 14 Superchargers here, and there's also 2 charge points over here for other electric vehicles, conveniently located right across from the Chico Mall, as well as tons of restaurants and shopping. So there's a Target, Starbucks, Subway, Chipotle, Del Taco, all kinds of fun stuff all around us. So I give this a 9 out of 10.
Hey, now you know, Zach and Jesse. Here we are at the Destination Chargers in Montebello, California at Home 2. Home 2 by Hilton. Fabulous, gorgeous new hotel property. And there's 2 of these Destination Chargers on each pole, 2, 4, 6, making for 6 Tesla, I guess these are 50 amp Destination Chargers. And across from that is the same thing for J1772 users. There's a Prius plug-in, whose is that? And an i3 plugging in here at the Destination Chargers on the Montebello Golf Course, where the Home 2 by Hilton's only about 20 miles for where you at for the Cybertruck from Hawthorne in Montebello, California. The Destination Superchargers here in Los Angeles, Montebello, Home 2.
Well, thank you guys.
That was great. Now, keep in mind, you can upload those to nowyouknowchannel.com in the Supercharger review section, and you can check out all the Supercharger reviews. They're all organized on a map, so it's easy to find.
And don't forget the Destination Chargers.
Absolutely, super important.
All right, what do we got for new Superchargers this week?
We have the 12-stall Supercharger in Ski, Norway. I guess you go skiing there.
We got the 4th one in the Czech Republic, the 4-stall in Brno, Czech Republic.
And number 736 in the United States, 1,699 in the world, the 12-stall 150-kilowatt Supercharger in Orleans, Massachusetts.
Yeah, down there on the Cape.
I didn't know we had an Orleans.
Yeah.
Is this the old Orleans?
It's the old
for
Orleans.
The new Orleans?
Yeah.
Is it French?
I don't know.
I've never heard of it, ever, once before.
Well, we've driven through it, so now
Well, it didn't have a supercharger,
Right,
so I didn't pay any attention.
All right, it's time for the Patreon giveaway. So we'll be giving away a baby onesie. Aren't those cute? Yep, those are EcoWear baby onesies.
I don't know if these are going to fit most of the people.
Well, everyone knows a baby.
Everyone knows a baby?
Sure.
All right. Well,
Babies are everywhere. And don't forget that we designed these with solar energy. We completely offset them. And when you buy a tee or a onesie, we plant a tree.
And the winner is George Shonia.
George, you've got yourself a baby onesie. So congratulations.
We can talk. Don't worry.
We'll make it work. Don't worry.
Okay, so this is the part of the video where you should probably turn up the volume. Why are you whispering? So that way other people in your house can hear you. Okay. Because this is for you. Okay. So anyway, if you are looking for a good Christmas present for the person who's watching this video...
Oh, they're hard to find good Christmas presents, Jesse.
I know that they're hard to find because they're just like us, and one of the things you can definitely get them is something from EcoWear. That's ecoware.us. Ecoware.us.
You mean they're going to want this? A Now You Know t-shirt with an embroidered logo?
Absolutely. I think that they wouldn't be unhappy with it because they have been watching this quite a lot. Wouldn't you agree? There are many other products. I think that you know that person well enough to be able to pick out the proper thing. Just saying. I know they're probably asleep on the couch right now. Come take a look. We also have... Oh boy. We also have this lovely Christmas ornament / coaster with our logo on it if you're interested in it.
And I think it would make a good tree topper like as the star
As the star?
You know?
Let's try that.
Like, isn't that look cool?
That's pretty nice. I don't know how you'd attach it.
No, a little string.
Little string.
Yeah,
and
it's easy.
good for little trees like this one.
Yeah.
Cute.
Anyway, thank you for joining us and being with us. And don't forget that the Autonomous Driving Future series, which a lot of you missed, is a really cool series. We put a lot of effort into it, and it stands up. Everything we said 2 years ago actually is coming true today. It's actually more true today than it seemed back then. So
Right.
we're on episode 5 coming out on Saturday. It's a 10-part series. And then, should we, since they're at the end of the show, let them know what might be coming up on the channel?
Yeah, but we'll have to make them wait. 1, 2, 3. We're going to do a 14-part series called Elon the Disruptor.
Yeah, that'll be coming out in late January. So stay tuned for that. That is going to be coming out every week for 14 weeks.
Yeah.
So
It was inspired by our famous In-Depth, so if you want to get ahead, you could maybe watch the In-Depth if you haven't seen that one before. It was definitely one of our best ones, I have to say. But hey, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. And we'll definitely see you next week because we do this every single week. And we have done this every single week for 170 weeks in a row. Have you done anything for 170 weeks in a row? Write it down in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Now you know.